Hola,
Hello.
familia.
Francisco. Do it again.
No, it's Cervantes Dog Training and Rehabilitation. This is Dog Talk. That's our new name.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about... So it was another one of those moments where we were like, just record it, because this is crazy. It's 9:30 at night, and...
I just came back home from a client.
And he was telling me about it. And it was one of those situations where it's just like, oh my gosh, capture this conversation on video because this is unbelievable. So the gist of this client is that it's a family with... Sorry, I have to fix my bangs. It's a family with 7 dogs. And very protective of their dogs. Had their guard up about you, it seems.
Well, they did, and
well, hold up. So they have male dogs in the home that attack each other, and that was why you were called.
right.
So now you can continue and talk about your experience.
Well, it's interesting because I went there and the whole family was they each have their own mentality on how they should behave with their dog.
Well, and you
So
were
they
saying
have-
they each have their own dog too,
Right,
which
and
might
then-
have something to do with that.
Right, and it seems like they have 7 dogs, but they each have each of
them have 2 or 3 that
right.
contribute to the pack.
Right,
Got it.
And so that's hard because when you're working with, when you have an issue like that, aggression, it's you have to be, everyone has to participate, and everyone has to kind of do the same, approach the same way, and what I saw there, it was a family that was confused. They love their dogs, and all of those dogs are pretty much rescues, and they have a big heart. They wanna save all of the dogs, and that's great. But when you have aggression going on, that changes things. So I went there, and she already gave me the heads up that she didn't want a trainer. Like, she didn't even, I don't think that she knew what balance trainer was. The only thing she knew from what I talking there is that if other people, she was confused, and then she asked other people, other professionals, and then they said that that's abuse. Anything that balance trainers do, it's abuse.
So what professionals were they? In what field?
I'm not entirely sure if it was a trainer that actually went in there. It was kind of like, I'm not sure about that. But she did say she took the dog to ask about, she thought, well, aggression, I should try to e-collar. So she asked her vet. And her vet, they have trainers there, or at least that I know that they teach some certain classes, and it's a pure positive reinforcement trainer. And then their philosophy on that vet office is that they practice the same thing as pure positive reinforcement trainers. Is like every.
Well, that's who they have there. They're purely positive.
No, they
trainers.
do have that, and it's all about like what is the slogan? No stress or no abuse or something like that?
Fear-free.
Oh, fear-free.
That's the slogan.
Yeah.
Fear-free.
So she went there, and then that's where they suggest that she shouldn't try tools such as the prong collar or the e-collar to solve aggression or to deal with aggression. And so the solution was spray bottle, which they tried, and meds. So they went home, they tried the spray bottle, which of course didn't worked a few times, and then that's it. And then the meds didn't work. Kept coming back to the vet, and then they just say, and instead of coming out with a different approach or really say, well, try a trainer and see if actually this kind of if it's last resort, then try it at least and see how it goes, or like something like that. And maybe they would have other trainers that they would work with aggressive dogs, but their solution was they this client said to me that they put actually a prong collar right here, and then they just used it in the arm, they
yanked it.
And then, so that's with the prong collar, they use it right
That's
here.
the example that they gave about why you shouldn't use the e-collar. It sounds like they physically hurt her.
Yeah, the prong collar.
I can't believe that.
I was in shock.
shocking.
I was in shock when she told me that. And then not only that, so someone in there, not even the prong, with the prong collar, and then they try the e-collar. And then they said, this is why you shouldn't use the e-collar. So they put the e-collar right here. Now, I never seen anyone use an e-collar here to try.
Would you?
I wouldn't try it there. I make people try e-collars, but right here, in this part of the hand. And so that was shocking to me because this is sensitive to the skin, right here.
Yeah.
She said that like they try it right here. And of course it hurts.
Yeah.
And I don't know what level to try, but she said that of course it was really uncomfortable and she didn't like it, so
she said it hurt, huh?
She said it hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why in the world they try it right here? I haven't seen anyone that try it right here. So why in the world they try it right here?
What number did they jack it up on?
It's
did they
unbelievable.
Even tell her? Did they even tell her what number it was?
I don't remember, but it's unbelievable. Why?
Because you don't just throw an e-collar on a dog and jack it up and just go for the gold.
This is crazy. We're in a total different level because first, like I seen this where they discourage these tools. But to actually use them on a human being, to physically hurt
a dog owner,
and say this is why you shouldn't use these tools, it's amazing. It's unbelievable.
I am in shock.
I was really shocked. But so that's them to discourage the human that was unsure about what's going on already. She went there and asked for help, and she got all this crap. And guess what she got?
That's terrifying.
She got that. She was already alert about me. She was like this, defensive, and she was...
Can we just take a step back for a second, though? So they discouraged working with specific trainers. They discouraged working with specific tools. What solution did they offer this owner? You might have said it, but there was a lot to take in just now.
Right.
What did they offer this owner?
So, Sprite bottle and meds, but the meds started with, I don't know how they start, low levels, and right now that dog is taking 2 types of meds, and they're high, really high. She showed me the bottles. She has like 3 big bottles. I'm like, whoa. And so it's just really sad, really, really sad, because here they are, professionals trying to discourage people to work with trainers like me, and they call what I do abuse. But they don't consider abuse of what they're doing with the dog.
Right.
And not only that, that dog is high on meds and daily.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
Right.
That's why they call me, because it doesn't work.
Right.
They're dealing, and even it's worse than before.
Well, and here's the thing about meds that they don't warn you about at all. Because we've had people, like friends, who have said, do you know anything about these anti-anxiety meds for dogs? Because, you know, my vet just put my dog on this to keep her calm while she's healing from her spay surgery, and she's acting really weird. Remember? And you know, it's like, no, we're not experts on these medications, but we do know that we've met quite a few dogs on meds, and they have some really strange neurological issues, like facial twitching and peeing on themselves, mouths that like go like this all the time.
Saliva.
That was why that friend asked about it, because they were like, my dog's doing weird things with her mouth, and I've never seen her do that before. And we were like, this is what we've been, you know, this is what we've been saying.
Lost. They also get kind of like in those, like, it's like, I don't know if it's a balance.
They have difficulty with their gait.
I only seen one dog that it was kind of like
twitchy when they walk with their gait. Like, this is not a game. It isn't like something to mess with. Like, this is serious.
That have literally going like this with their head, and it's kind of like, well, this is totally, this is amazing. This is really sad. But anyway, the point is that they discourage these people, and they're nice people. They're trying to do the best they can with the dogs. And they went there for help, and then instead...
And they didn't offer anything except medication. Which you pay for out of pocket regularly. I mean, that's a really good way to pay into the drug industry.
And they still are... They're in worse situation than they were before.
Right, and they still had to call you.
And they still have to call
With their guard up, very defensive, they still had to call you. And that's... So, I get very anxious when he tells me about his experience with certain clients, and this is one where I'm just a little on edge here. So, continue.
Well, what I saw with this family, that they each have their own thoughts of how to be around their dogs, and so when they call someone like me to try to help, I'm actually, we already say this, and I said it to them, I'm the bad guy here.
You're always the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy here.
All the time.
And I'm the one who has to clean
this up.
Everyone's mess right here.
And now you get to do it working against medication that, who knows how it affects these dogs? Nobody knows.
And you know what the thing is? I asked, without me working with the dog, I asked the owner of the dog that it was more intense. This is what you need to do. Just do it.
Directing her what to do.
And she did it. And eventually, she got on it, and the dog responded to her, and it was like, no needs for meds.
Right.
And well, it's kind of like...
I think it's important to note that in this particular, he's usually very hands-on, but in this particular situation, you were sensing how defensive she was, and with her experience that she told you about at the vet, you're like, it is in my best interest not to touch your dog at all.
Because I do want to help.
Right.
And my way to help is that...
But it's unfortunate that that's how you have to, like... Now you have to figure out a whole new way of working to accommodate for the fact that people want to make you the bad guy. And you have to make sure that you don't give them a single thing that they can use against you, that, you know, that...
And here's the thing. Around here in this area where our focus is, it's the pure positive reinforcement it's really bad.
Yeah.
What they're doing is bullshit. And when I go to work, I'm the bad guy. And I'm not against pure positive reinforcement, or I don't have any, I don't care what kind of style to practice. But here's the thing, I'm sure there are many nice people around and trainers, and then that I would just respect them. But around here, in this area, they hate me. And then it's all about teaching or going after those sensitive people, because she was sensitive when she went there. She was unsure. She's
asking for
vulnerable.
guidance.
She was vulnerable, and she went there for help. And then they screwed her up.
They put a prong collar around her and yanked her.
And then not only that, the e-collar.
And the e-collar.
And they put her.
I'm just trying to imagine what that looks like. I'm just trying to imagine. That is not like.
Oh wait, but they said don't try
experience.
Don't try trainers, because they're this kind of trainers like me, because they're abusers. They're dogs. So automatically, like, here's the thing, she knew that she needed help, and that's why she called me,
and she knew she
made
didn't
it clear.
Get that help when she had asked
right.
for it.
And I went there and I said, I'm not going there to help your dog had a cedar roll over. This is not agility training. This is not obedience training. This is behavioral work.
Your dog is attacking other dogs. It's not cute. So we're not working on tricks.
And they are getting hurt.
I don't know why people expect that. I don't know why people expect it to be like light work when like you're working with a dog that's like, you know what I mean? Like it's a joke to think
it is a joke
that you can play games with this dog and that's going to be like the problem solving.
And here's the thing, when I go there, I have to figure out a way to work with every single one of them, because every one of them had their own mentality, their own ways, that it makes my job hard. It's really easy. You know what these trainers do? They would say, no, I don't take this kind of put your dog down, or they like what happened meds, right. And so I'm the bad guy, right? So I go there, and then they're really like on top of it, and then they're like, if you touch my baby, I'll, you know.
Did they say that? If you touch my baby?
Well, she was already like this, like I don't want. I don't want you to abuse my kiddo. And it's like I don't need to, because here's the thing, I said I do discipline dogs. I do correct dogs, but I don't punish dogs. I correct them. I just snap the brain out of it, and then so we can have a better relationship, nice conversation. And she thought that discipline was abuse. So I have to talk to her for a little bit and say, no. This is what it looks like. And in order for me, before I start working with her, it was like, you need to realize that physical touch is just physical touch, right? So I think that
not all physical touch.
Not all physical, and so it took a little bit before she realized that what I'm asking, it's not actually a difficult thing to do, and it's actually realistic. It's common sense. And it took a little bit, but once you realized that, she was okay with it. But it did take a lot convincing.
I have a question. Do you think that you got called because other people in the house were like, give it a chance? Or did you get the feeling that like everybody was on the same page, like already set up against you, and it was just that you're their last resort, and so they had to call you? Or did you get the feeling that there was like one other person there who maybe was like, you should still call this guy?
No, there are two things there. One, the guy was open to. But I think what made it different is that this nice lady was confused, and what made her call me is that she doesn't want to get rid of the dog.
Right.
She is refusing to get rid of the dog, and she knows that what she is doing is not helping and is making it worse, and she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I think that what forced them to do it, because not only that, they are getting hurt, because if the dog fights, they have to get in there. So
how bad were these fights? Were they like puncture wound fights, or? I think
they would
kill each other.
I don't know if they would kill each other though, but they would
wound each other badly.
We're talking about big dogs.
Yeah,
they're big dogs. It's just they're huge dogs. There's nothing they can do with that.
Right, they're not gonna be able to control the body.
Right, and they're already like. If one of the dogs move, the other one is already alert. So they already like with anything. So I pretty much, went there and then I said, you need to change. You need to change routines. You need to change the way you think about your dog. You need to figure it out that you can love your dog as much as you want, but discipline goes first. You need to discipline your dogs. And not only that, you need to also accommodate for some physical movement environment, which
like exercise.
Yeah, because they're powerful breeds and they're big, well, two big dogs, and I mean, let's face it, we all struggle with winter.
Yeah,
and they are struggling with that, and if they don't do, I suggest the treadmills. I mean, they already saw that we use harnesses, and we
saw that
we teach dogs how to pull.
So they follow us on Facebook,
and then they saw that, and then the brains are already starting to think about what all the things that they can do. So what ended up happening is that she figured out, well, this is good. You didn't even have to touch my dogs, and you made me do things, and I was okay with that. And that helped her a lot, or helped them to figure out that it's just communicating with your dog.
Yeah.
And when you get, when you have a dog that it's at number 10 of excitement, like it's right here, you better figure out how to bring that excitement at a different level if you want to be okay.
Well, if you want to keep your dog out of trouble.
If you want to keep dogs, yeah. But and that's what we did. We just let them know, you got to do this, and so. But I one of the things that I make clear is that you know how it works, how I work. I think you have a lot to talk, a lot to practice, but if you want to work with me, this is how it's going to work. You better be open, because we're going to do more than what we did today. And that was going to include an e-collar, using it properly.
Wait, so you didn't use an e-collar today?
I did not use an e-collar because I don't think she was ready.
Did you use a prong collar?
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready. I think that's really
important. It is really sensitive, because, again, I go to people's houses when you find things like that. Again, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
And why do I have to be a bad guy here? It's, like this whole abuse with like, and I get it. There are some people that use tools wrong. But, if you need a tool, and if you find someone that actually guides you on how to do a tool, use a tool, then, and if it's going to change the dynamic of your life, then why not? And these professionals are just, it amazes me how they're doing
how
things, far they go to scare people that are vulnerable, and to say, well, they just put them in meds.
Yeah,
and it's
almost like
that's not abuse. It is.
I know.
it's like they said this is abuse, but putting a dog's like high in meds that it's losing its mind, that's not abuse. Oh,
right.
That's...
And it's absolutely possible to rehab a dog that has been on meds and make it so that it doesn't ever need to be on meds ever again. It's absolutely possible.
We have done that.
So,
we have done that.
Yeah.
And it does
and actually
take a lot, but
you don't rehab dogs that are on meds with a plan to continue using meds.
Right. We don't take dogs that are using meds.
They have to be weaned off meds first, because
and
it's that important to you that the dog not be on meds.
We have done it before, and it was one particular case that exactly the same thing that this family is going through. It was high in meds, and the dog was out of control. It was losing it. And this nice couple, you know, they were just like, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then they just took a shot. And then, but I did say I don't want to work with the dog with meds.
Yeah.
And they did understand what that concept, and then they waited, and I did work with the dog, and he's back home and he's doing really well.
Yeah.
But it is struggle. Like, you can't just say it's just a symptom of a bigger problem, and then you can't just shut down that little thing with something powerful. That's not how it works.
I mean, I just don't understand how that's acceptable. How is that acceptable to do that to your dog?
How is that not abuse? That's my thing. It's like, you call that abuse, using an e-collar abuse, and then you
loading them up with meds to the point where
you don't call that the whole, like,
they're not even
you put dogs
clearly
in
thinking anymore.
This and meds, and for the rest of their lives. It's like, how is that not abuse?
Yeah.
It's amazing. But so this is what I had to work with today.
Can we talk about so that same dog that you rehabbed off meds, back at home, doing well, that same dog went to that same vet.
Right.
That dog went to the same vet.
Right.
And that dog was put on meds by the same vet. That dog was forced to be on meds every time it went into the office. Extra medication, not just what it was already on. And that dog
was
then,
insanely...
Yeah. Well, and we learned this because you went to an appointment with the dog after it was rehabbed. And they were, like, very angry.
They were awful to me.
They were awful to you. They were, like, almost refusing to even see the dog without it being on meds. Right. Didn't believe that it was going to be a different dog. Didn't care. And you had learned at that vet visit that they had given the dog extra meds, more extra meds than it had already been taking regularly before, which was super high doses. And then, what is it that you said? They wrapped him, he was muzzled, fine, wrapped in a blanket?
Wrapped in a blanket.
Wrapped in a blanket. And this
the dog pooped and peed all over
everywhere.
Because the dog was freaking out.
Right. And so then you
But here's the thing. The dog did not have any physical, that physical that they do. The dog just went, they hardly did anything with his dog because he was...
When the dog went in.
When the dog, before us.
Oh, yeah.
And so after the rehab, we went in there, no meds. We did have a muzzle for safety. And I went there to help.
They treated you like crap.
They treated me like crap.
Almost refused to see the dog.
And so this is what they did. They did a physical. They draw blood and they did shots. The dog did not snap. The dog did not. Only one growl, very minor. So I have to say is hey, and the dog got quiet, and they touched everywhere. That dog was fine, and and they still was like, the way they treated me, it was like,
well, and
the
the
way,
clients too.
Oh yeah, they were like,
these
oh
are their
my God.
clients, and they're treating them.
And the way I could describe it to you, it was like a big punch in my guts, and then I was like, it almost made me like throw up, because I could feel it, how like disgusted
How much they hated you
with me, and it was like I never felt that way before. I mean, I have, but not to a point that I was working with the client. And
well, you partially had to, I mean, I'm sure that like you've been treated badly before. I know for a fact you have. I know you've been treated badly before in dog training, but I'm sure it was way worse when you're taking this dog in and you're really trying to give it a good experience on its first time back after rehab, and then you have your clients there that you want to protect, and you want to empower them and uplift them, and then their vet is just slamming them. Yeah. Like, I can't believe you took this dog off meds. I can't believe you hired this guy. I can't believe you're here. Like, it just, obviously that would compound any feeling that you had already.
And you know what, after the fact, after the dog did so well, I was really impressed with this dog. And he's human as well. They were so proud of their dog, that they did so well that without meds, and that they still, even after they did everything that they needed to do or they have not done before, and they did everything, they still said to them, well, referring to me, well, he's not gonna be always with you.
He won't always be here.
Something like that. Yeah. And it was like,
he won't always be at all of your appointments.
So therefore, what they said is like, you need to put
him.
You need to put your dog in meds before the dog comes. And it's like, well, that is insane. Yeah. So, but that's not abuse. Whoa. That putting a dog in meds is not abuse. It's just like, you know, it's just like giving a candy to a dog. Right. And it's, that to me is...
Yeah, and loading them up with so much meds, and then wrapping them in a blanket, and I mean, like, that's okay because it's our way.
Right.
That's okay because it's our way.
Right.
So,
I'm like insane.
I'm like, ugh. Like my inside, like my jaws, I just get really, it's so upsetting.
It is upsetting.
It's just really hard to deal with.
Yeah, it is. Like, I understand that they have a pack, and I understand that they're dealing with behaviors that older people are dealing with, you know, the same way. But to go that far, to go and ask for help,
and have them strap a e-collar to you and zap you. Yeah,
I never seen that where
I've never heard of that.
Professional would put the e-collar right here.
This is a new thing too, because we've worked with many clients, shared clients with this particular office, and this is the first time we've heard of this before.
Oh yeah.
So it seems like they've got some new things that they're trying.
Wow, I was in shock when she said, yeah, they did put the e-collar right here. And I'm like, why would they put it right there? It's amazing what people do to scare older.
This area of your body is completely different than the particular spot on a dog's neck where you would place that. Completely different.
It is amazing. No,
I mean, like, I shouldn't have to even say that, like, you don't have hair. I mean, like, that's one very obvious way that it's so different, is that you do not have hair. And you especially don't have any right here. Like, they picked a spot where, like,
Oh yeah.
No, not a single person will have any hair on the inside of their arm.
This is the first time I heard that.
I swear they called up a tattoo shop. I swear they called up a tattoo shop and they were like, "Where is the most painful place to get a tattoo?" All right, we'll put the e-collar there. We'll put it there.
Right here. Oh my God, yeah, that's. And when she showed me those bottles, though, it's like this thick, and big ones like this. 3 of those bottles, and then this dog takes them every day. And it's amazing because they when you're working with people, you just want to help them, but you know, it's one of those things that you have to be there for them and let them figure it out slowly and realize that what's wrong. And in doing that, you feel like all that heaviness, all that
anxiety, fear, frustration,
and so,
anger.
But that to me is,
ouch.
You know, it is hard to do it, but at the same time, it's worth it when that heaviness is lifted. It's like, when the person kind of like relaxes and it's like, oh, so you're telling me that I don't have to feel this way, and I'm like, I've been telling you from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's not happening. And so what we did, I gave directions to the humans that had the dog.
What did they have, like a slip lead leash on?
Had slip lid. She even said it herself that because they went after the slip lid as well.
Yeah.
I didn't name it. They went.
Right.
And so.
But in this scenario, you need something because otherwise those 2 dogs are going to get to each other.
So
they had be blamed for it.
Yeah, they had they were told that you don't use anything here. They were told that not even the slip lid, that is where it comes from. That the only thing that goes around the neck is the collar with the tags on.
Mm-hmm.
Any training that needs to happen, it goes in a harness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not what we're gonna do. We need to gain more control. Right. And plus, we're not going for a walk. We're just trying to work with the dogs inside. These are big,
like
they're
you described them, big,
big dogs.
Mixed dogs that love using their chest. Like I don't know. I don't even get it. The whole harness thing.
Right. So
it's like you put a harness on a dog when you want them to pull.
Well,
like, I don't understand how that's the solution to pulling.
I showed her the slip lid, and then she went like, like I showed her something awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right,
you called me because what you have been doing isn't working.
And that's the thing, is like, she did try it, and then we did work. I showed her what she needed to do. And guess what? At the end, she was more relaxed. Mm-hmm. She was using common sense. Mm-hmm. You know, at some point, something happened with the dogs that all of them got alert, and they were barking. And she just took care of the dog because she had the leash with the dog. Mm-hmm. And she did it without me saying anything. Mm-hmm. And it was because we already worked a little bit,
right,
and on what to do. And she just did it. And it's like, that's all I was asking.
It's almost like this situation, it's like where they were going for help actually left them more helpless.
Yeah. Well, now they're in big...
What?
Dipping crap. They're dipping crap right now. I mean, these big dogs...
Well, and if you don't nip that behavior right away, it just...
Yeah, and that just makes sense. Because, you know, like, these professionals are saying to them, it's like, don't even say no to your dog, right? And then... So then you have behavioral work, and then she's like, well, I don't want to, when I ask her, well, just snap the brain out of it, just correct her, or correct him. And she's like, but I'm watching the body. And it's like, well, don't watch the body. Look at those eyes. It's like, the dog was already like this on the other dog, fixated on the other dog. It's like, you're missing the point. I mean, it took a little bit, but once she got it, she was like on it. But You know, like
she
it's
was
that
missing the
confusion.
cues.
Right, that confusion of like, don't tell the dog no, because that's, I don't know why it's abuse, but can you guess why those people say don't tell your dog no?
Don't tell your dog no.
I know this is a big thing about like they want to isn't it like a big thing that
all
you
I have
should
to
not
say
say?
is I tell
It's
my
against the law.
all I have to say is I tell my
punish.
kids no all the time. So I'm gonna tell my dogs no, no problem.
And
like,
here's the thing. There's a human, and I said it to this human, to her. I said it. Like, you're a lady that you don't take crap from people.
You said that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then she says, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how come you let them step all over you?
Yeah. Because they scared her into thinking that she could be called an animal abuser. Because being called an animal abuser is like the worst. And we know it. Because it happens to us all the time. It is the worst.
Yeah, it is. But it's... I know.
And it's wild because, like, if you think that there's abuse happening here, then report it. Have somebody come and check us out, and they'll find out that But they don't even report it because there's nothing to report.
Right.
So it's just like catastrophe, high alert, high alarm. Let's, warn everybody, but it's for nothing.
So
it doesn't even. They couldn't actually nail you if they wanted to.
Right, and this is big because this is true that
it's like using fear. It's using fear to direct people where you want them to go, to manipulate them where you want them to go.
And I call them like
people
religion.
are afraid already with their dogs when there's behavior that they don't understand and they don't know what to do with. They're afraid already. So it's so perfect that if you want to maneuver them in a particular direction, that you're going to use fear to do that.
Right.
And that's fear of hurting your dog, fear of being judged, fear of being called an animal abuser.
Right. And so...
And, yeah.
Yeah, it's... So it is big that they say, no, it's abuse. That's true, by the way. They were like, I don't remember.
They said that
They
today.
did. And...
They said saying no is abuse.
No, not today in this particular case. But there's a lot of going on with... in a dog world that now... It was a big thing about like saying no to a dog. You cannot say no to a dog because it's abuse. And now what they're saying is that crates, we
were reading on the International Association of Canine Professionals page on Facebook. It's like a members group on Facebook. They post whenever there's updates of, I don't know, anything like legislation wise or anything. But in this case, they were saying in New York, they're trying to pass a bill that says that you can't crate your dog unless the crate is like 4 dogs wide, 4 dogs long, and 4 dogs high. And we were really disappointed to see that because crates are so helpful. They're so helpful in training in so many ways.
That is sad.
And that's really scary that maybe that would pass. And
it is scary.
To just like, it just feels really out of control. But luckily the IACP fights that sort of legislation, the proposals for that sort of legislation all the time. So.
Yep. So this is what we'd have to deal. Like again, is cleaning up after older people's mess, and I think that they did get it. I think that they were like, yeah, we don't know what we're doing, and we went ask for help and we didn't get any, and we're still in the same mess. And
except for
and
now,
worse.
my dog is on meds,
and so
is mentally confused.
So it is hard, but I think that they do have an option now, and what it is that they accepted what what they saw, and then that it's not abuse, and then not only that, they do want to work more, and so they do, but they just need to talk.
Yeah, let it soak a little bit.
And I made it very clear. Before you call me, you better sit and talk.
Yeah.
Because if you call me, we're gonna use those tools that those people put you.
And you're gonna all need to be on the same page.
We all need to be working together to get to a point. Because a tool is just to help you snap the brain out of it and to communicate. That's all it is. It's not to abuse the dog. But these people, they don't even know. When they don't know how to use a tool, they take it far. And that is far going. It's so amazing. I mean, they're not even dog trainers. Come on. That's the sad part. They like this, and there are some dog trainers that they have not used. They don't know how to use the tools. Like I've seen dog trainers, positive reinforcement trainers, that they have not used any collar before, or maybe they try a little bit, but you can tell right away. Those people that used any collar before, or they have knowledge, they know right away when someone does not know anything about the e-collar. And it's really sad that they're doing that. They're going that far to scare people away from trainers like that, just trying to be honest and open of like the idea of helping rather than taking their money away. I don't understand. But yeah, this is what
and how many people have you actually ever met that was like, I'm gonna use an e-collar or a prong collar without any assistance, and they were abusing their dogs and didn't even know it? Like, how many people have you ever met that that was the case? Zero.
Right.
You haven't told me of any.
No.
They're like, I'm gonna try the prong collar without any help. I'm gonna try the e-collar without it. You've met people that have tried those tools without help.
Right.
And they didn't abuse their dogs with it.
They do not.
They didn't. How many people have you met that you worked with that confused the hell out of their dogs by not giving clear directions, by not having rules and boundaries, by letting their dog do whatever they want, by being overly affectionate and throwing treats in the air like it's Christmas every day? And then their dog is so confused and doesn't even know how to be a dog, doesn't know how to be around other dogs, doesn't know how to be around people, is lost. How many do you think you've met that's the scenario? You can't even give a number. You can't even give a number. There's no number to give.
Yeah.
It's like every client. That's like the typical client.
Right. It is definitely something that the struggle is real there.
Yeah.
And but the best thing that we can do is to, and that's what we're trying to do. We're respectful, and we're honest. And like you said before, we worked, and there are positive reinforcement trainers that have stopped us on the street and harassed us
in front of our children.
In front of our children.
Yeah.
In front of clients, and even as far as like calling out loud abuse all over.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of in town in Montpelier, Vermont, and
right.
So
yeah, like the other day when you were walking Milo, and he was sitting on the corner really, really quietly waiting for the light so that you could cross on the crosswalk, and a woman was turning the corner in their car, and she opened the window and yelled something out, and we both were like like we were waiting for the shit storm. Like, we're like, and then she said something like, "That job's looking great. Keep up the good work." And we were like, oh,
yeah. No, but they went so far one time that I had my client. I was working with a client, and we were working, and this pure positive reinforcement trainer tried to take the dog
out of your hands,
out of my hands.
The leash out of your hands. Yeah,
she went that far.
And she turned to your client and said, "If you know what's best for your dog, and if you care about your dog, then you take your dog and get out of here." It's like, are we living in like the wild, wild west? You know what I mean? Like,
here's the thing. She felt like she had power because she worked for a big organization.
Which we're not going to mention because we can't.
We're not going to mention.
We can't.
Because
but let's just say it's that
it's
bad.
Local.
It's
a local
that's
shelter.
No. It's a national organization.
Oh, yeah. I just meant that she is.
But this
it's a local shelter
trainer works at a local location for this national organization.
It's like almost she felt like she was like a police officer.
Yeah. Well, and then we go to our lawyer and we're like, "So what do we do when we're being bullied by the blah 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 national organization?" And this, our lawyer's like, "Get out of town." Run. And we were like,
shit.
Oh no, that's the only solution you have for us. God.
But that's the thing, they cannot do that because it's not abuse. And
they cannot do that. They cannot do that because it's not abuse. What does that mean?
They cannot take the dog. They cannot call you abuser. The abused dog. They cannot do all that because it's not abuse.
Which was the other thing that our lawyer said was that, like, well, actually, they don't have anything that they can say that you did that was abusive.
We learned from all that and talking to our lawyer
but if you're being bullied by them, you should be afraid, very, very afraid.
Right,
like that's what we got. Like
because they're big in comparison to ours.
But if they have picked you and targeted you, then you should be afraid. And we're like,
great,
nice,
right. And again, this is just it's not that we don't like other trainers.
No,
pure positive reinforcement trainers.
Not that at all. You know, sometimes
no, but it is because the way they have treat us.
Well, you know
these positive reinforcement trainers have target us and treat us like shit.
Yeah.
And that's where the way we're talking about this pure positive reinforcement.
And you know
trainers.
what? Honestly, I feel like instead of talking like, I mean, it's nice to have you and you come home and it's probably like 10:30 now because we've been talking for an hour about it. It's probably like 10:30 at night. It's nice to have each other, but wouldn't it be like, it's nice to have each other and then, okay, we'll film it and we'll share it because like whoever out there, you might care, maybe. But wouldn't it be really nice to sit down with other trainers and be like, oh my God, man, you won't believe what happened to me. And then they're like, whoa, you know, like, tell me about it. Wouldn't that be really nice? But there's no support, none. And that's tough. And then there's a lot of heat. There's a lot up against you and not a lot of support.
You need to go that far of trying tools on people and be dishonest.
You know what? Really... At the start of this conversation, I was so anxious and upset and I felt like wounded for you that I was like, all right, don't do it anymore. And I get like that a lot. Like, okay, we're done. We're out, you know. But then it's amazing because then by the end of the conversation, like when you tell me about how empowered they are in the end and how like little things that they didn't think they could do, and then now they understand that they can, and the difference that makes, I go, yeah, let's keep going. we got this. We need to keep going. And so it's a little bit like an emotional roller coaster, but in the end, to have that fuel to keep going is really
right
good.
And they did realize that, like, we could have done this a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, we already did a video about this, that it should be a choice. And
training method should be a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the way we approach dogs is just, it's just common sense. And it's, yes, we discipline dogs, but it's not abuse. It is, I mean, you said to your kids.
We discipline our children.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And it's not abuse.
So
that's it.
That's it.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
See ya.
Good night.